Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our special bonus session for the Man on Purpose course that we're doing here with Brandon Peele. It's the Purpose Assessment Tool, and really excited to have Brandon here with us today to talk a little bit about purpose, just how he holds purpose, and then also to dive into this tool. It's a really powerful tool. He created it himself and has been using with his clients, and also an opportunity for us here in the Man on Purpose course to use this tool as well, especially at the start of the course. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about Brandon and his bio and then some personal thoughts, and then we'll get started. So Brandon Peele is a certified purpose guide, former co-leader of the Man on Purpose course with me last year. It was great to have him co-teaching with me, and is also the author of Planet on Purpose, being published by Hay House Balboa Press. It's coming out shortly in 2017. And Brandon has guided over 2,000 people from 50 countries on their path of purpose discovery, and has worked with leaders of startups, including net-driven KKR, as well as executives from Fortune 500 companies like Google, Apple, and Johnson & Johnson. He teaches purpose discovery courses at JFK University and Northern Arizona University, and his work has been featured in USA Today, Conscious Company Magazine, TechCrunch, and on Fox News. And so just a little personal anecdote is that I met Brandon several years ago now, and we started our whole relationship around purpose, right, Brandon? And literally, like, our first conversation was about Brandon's passion for learning about his own purpose and fine-tuning and honing in on that, and then helping other people find their purpose. And I was just in the process of, starting or just finishing the first year of the Man on Purpose course. And so it's been such a wonderful journey with Brandon of supporting him in his work, and then him supporting MKP and me with the Man on Purpose course last year. And he's just on fire with his new book coming out and all the work he's doing around purpose with some amazing teachers who are some of the best in the business that he's working with as his colleagues. So great to have you here, Brandon. I'm so glad you're part of the course. At least, maybe not as a full-on co-teacher, but you're here as an expert and help the course this year. So thank you. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, Chris, thank you again for having me. I'm just really connected right now with how special it is to do purpose work in a container of men.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really unique. There's nothing like it. So it was obviously an honor to be a part of it last year and to continue supporting it this year.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great to have you here. And so we're going to do two things today, folks. Is we're going to talk a bit about purpose with Brandon. He's got some great ideas and some really cutting edge thinking around how to hold purpose individually and collectively. So we're going to dive into that. But we're also going to spend plenty of time going through the purpose assessment tool. So make sure you listen to both. We're going to do some context, and then we're going to dive into the tool. So let's get big picture a bit, Brandon. Let's do this. So how do you've been so steeped in purpose for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years now. So how are you holding purpose these days?
Yeah. Well, so it's in some sense, it's really simple, right? You know what your life is about. That's purpose. And yet, there's all these different traditions that have different perspectives on it. And, my purpose guide, Jonathan Gustin of the Purpose Guides Institute, developed this really robust framework for understanding your soul's purpose. Yeah. So, I'll relate that using another framework that comes, actually, we don't really know where it comes from. Bill Plotkin refers to it, but it's called the 3 realms of purpose, where you have your upper world purpose of kind of transcending the flesh, becoming one with whatever your largest understanding of reality is, God, source, mystery, so forth. And then there's a middle world purpose. And this is like being a human being. And that has a number of subtasks around, being emotionally articulate, having fun, experiencing joy, giving and receiving love, having a purpose-driven career, and taking care of your body. That's a purpose of, being in the flesh. And then there's the lower world purpose, and that's really that's your unique spiritual purpose. So your general purpose, upper, and your unique, your lower world is what we call the soul's purpose. And within that, there's a lot of different aspects of your purpose. I won't go too much into that because I know that Jonathan is going to explain more about that in another Yes, module. So, after being trained by Jonathan and all the guest faculty at PGI, which, includes like Tim Kelly, Bill Plotkin, Joanna Macy, Terry Patton, like really some of the most amazing thinkers on the subject. One of the things that just kind of felt missing for me, even though, like I said, I think the Purpose Octagon is really complete. But one of the things that felt missing was like this idea that there's an evolutionary progression, that there's something really important happening actually at our species level with this type of education. And so I think this time it's different in a lot of ways. Like purpose is not just a best practice. It's not just something like up there with like yoga and 8 hours of sleep in a balanced diet. It's actually, there's an evolutionary advance that's happening right now. So there's a model that I'm developing. It's in my book, where I talk about kind of the 4 levels of purpose. And that, we've kind of added this last level, and I'll explain more about it, because there's this awakening. You may have heard about it, called the shift, or the age of Aquarius, or the remembering, depending on who you talk to. But like this time it's different in a lot of ways. And so the first level is probably one we're all very familiar with. This is no purpose. That's the first level of purpose, is actually not having one and not really even caring about it. Maybe you're just like, I don't care. It's not important. I'd rather, do my fantasy football league, or it's something that other people do, like hippies or whatever. It's just put it in the box of weird stuff that is just not important. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. And, there's nothing wrong with that. But it also doesn't allow you access to, the power and the freedom to like really have a big life. Because you're not going to accidentally have a big life. Like that's one thing that's guaranteed, is that nobody's born exceptional. That you have to declare yourself to be exceptional, and then do the work and take actions consistent with that. And that actually kind of moves into the second level of purpose, and that is what I call declared. Like I declare that I'm going to build a bunch of casinos and put my name on it. Like that's just saying I declare something I'm going to go do. And it really operates kind of at the level of ego, like whatever the ego thinks it should do. Like I declare I'm going to be the best at, or I declare, I'm going to grow my company's revenue by 300%. It's still a purpose. I mean, like you look purpose up in the dictionary, and it literally means like aim, a goal. It's nothing mystical about it. It's like you just declared it, and that's your purpose. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And some people manage to achieve like a lot of good in the world. Like I would say that, Bill Gates, for example, like had a declared purpose to be number one in, computer software. And he did, and he made lots of people's lives easier. And he has all this money he's now giving away and trying to change things. So there's nothing wrong with having a declared purpose. Now that said, there's still more.
Brandon, can I interrupt for a second? Would you say that the declared purpose is generally something where there's a form, I'm going to go and do this, or this is how I'm going to get this, I'm going to teach that, I'm going to be, high school. Is that kind of where you say declared, where it's actually talking about form specifically, the thing that I'm going to create?
Yeah. It's usually some kind of outcome oriented. Like I want to see X differently, or I want to see my life, larger or something. It's usually not informed at all by any kind of understanding of the interiority of consciousness, of spirituality. It's just saying like, I'm a human and I can choose to have a small life or a big life. I'm going to choose a big life. I'm going to go get the thing. Okay. So, and again, like that's really important. We probably would not have as many people on this planet if there weren't people saying like, I want to be with that person, or I want to put houses over people that don't have houses, like I like those things are important. And there's, again, like nothing wrong with just having a declared purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, where it gets really fun, and this is where, literally it'll like an electricity bolt runs through you. This is what I'll call like a higher purpose, or a revealed purpose, where it's like something that's emerging out of you that's like, you cannot explain it. It is not dictated by your past. It is not the function of your ego machinery operating. It's like, oh, I've got to go do this thing. There's nothing in my past of, being a rugby player and a party boy and an investment banker that says I should go be a purpose guide or like, bring this technology to the world. Like I would never choose that. In party boy, investment banker, Brandon would never in a million years choose to do something as hippie new age as that. Right.
Right.
So, and this is really where the work comes in, where you got to do more than just say, I'm going to have a big life, but you got to say, I'm going to have a big life, and it's got to be true. It's got to be the only one that I'm meant to live. So that's where, we break from the default, and we say, okay, well, if what's expected of me is X, that might be my purpose, but odds are it's like 1,000,000 to 1 that that's really my purpose. To like keep repeating my dad's life or whatever. And then this is where, programs like the Man on Purpose course are really instrumental. Or, working with a purpose guide or working with Animus Valley to do vision quests or medicine journeys and things like that. So you actually have to like commit time and resources to revealing the contours of your soul. And, Jonathan Gusson will talk more about like, all the different aspects of your life's purpose. But I'll just list them briefly. So your vision, your values, your core powers, it's like your high, your full level functioning abilities, your essence, which I know that Man on Purpose delivers. And then there's your unique transformative process. So how you, like the actual thing that you do that's unique, that moves or transforms people from point A to point B. Then there's your mission, your message, so the eternal truth that you feel called to keep sharing. And then your delivery method, which is like your job or how the world relates to you economically as you give away your gifts. So when you do the work and you get that, that's where it's just like literally like electricity, like where it's you feel that you are on the cresting wave of reality. Like everything in your past has brought you to this moment. And so you're kind of pitched forward and excited because you're like, it's not easy to surf a wave for those of you who have done it. Like there's a giant ocean pushing you forward, and it's unique. You're not just a good Christian or a good capitalist or a good husband or a good father. You're a very specific version of that, or however your soul dictates it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and then the last one. Do you want to? Should I pause or?
No, why don't you go to the last one? Yeah. You hear that? Yeah.
So last one. This is what really excites me, and this is why it's kind of this time it's different. This is why this is not just a tool, an education for the navel-gazing wealthy. This is not just another way to like indulge in one's interiority. Yeah. Like really, there's a confluence. This is kind of what my book starts to outline, is that there are now, about 1 billion people on the planet who are engaged in the question of what is my life's purpose. Not only that, but like, what is the purpose of my marriage, of my family, of my community, of my company, of my town, of my state, nation, species, planet? What is the purpose of the cosmos? Why is there something rather than nothing? Like this, although some of these questions have certainly existed before, we now have the tools to A, distribute purpose discovery technology, and B, with social media, specifically Wikipedia and Twitter, we're starting to develop a consciousness as species or as planet. Not so much yet as cosmos, but like as species and planet. Like, as we start to see the systems and the default purposes of the world limit and inhibit human well-being and flourishing, we're like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure that the purpose of a company is not to make life worse. Or I'm pretty sure governments are not supposed to monitor and bomb their own citizens. Yeah, that's pretty much not in the definition of purpose.
That sounds like pretty good. Yeah. Not purposeful.
Yeah, not purposeful. So this is what makes it like exciting. Like this, Jonathan Gustin said this to me once, like in 2012, and it still holds. He's like, "You are alive in San Francisco, like in 2012. Like there is no more exciting time in all of human history to be alive. Like the first emergence of planetary consciousness, the first time we have tools to actually do something about it. We've got technology and we've got, all this amazing potential that is just like, it's like the last few decades, we've just been like accumulating kindling on the forest floor. And there's something about to erupt. Yeah. And I hold that it's the empowerment of your soul's purpose writ large. So imagine 7.3 billion human beings really knowing themselves.
Yeah.
So what this allows, this kind of understanding that this technology is awesome, but that we can then use our soul's purpose in an evolutionary sense. Now, I don't mean evolutionary like our purpose evolves. That it does. Even a declared purpose will evolve. A higher purpose will evolve. But what I mean is that when you add an understanding or like a global context, understanding economics, ecology, politics, psychology, philosophy, sociology, anthropology, so forth, all the things that determine and explore what it means to be a human being. You add that as the canvas, this canvas you stretch and start to paint your life's purpose. That's when you literally step into stewardship for the human species. You are that front edge of the evolution of humanity and possibly even the whole cosmos. So this is really exciting. But to get there, first you've got to have the higher purpose, the revealed purpose. And then you start to educate yourself, bringing in that global cosmic evolutionary context and say, okay, now how can I craft a mission and a vision for the world that makes life better for everything and everyone? So that's what I would call evolutionary purpose. Like you've decided, you take this element of declared purpose and you declared, I'm responsible for the human and ecological condition. And my life is going to be in service of improving it in this particular way.
Yeah. And then you'll have your own flavor of what is that more planetary, global, even universal sense of giving my gifts and giving of my talent and my time and energy toward serving that. Yeah, and thank you for sharing the layers. I mean, I really get it, and I do see for me my own shifting of purpose, my own evolution of my own purpose, but also just evolving, like you said. My purpose is evolving, but am I part of the evolution? The creative force of the evolution of our planet and the people on it and all beings, and in some levels, and that's where, and I'm sure you would recognize this, that's where my deepest held spiritual beliefs start to cross with this whole conversation of purpose.
Yes.
They're not separate. Then there's a point where it's not. And, and just to ground it, and people know, Eckhart Tolle, everybody's heard of Eckhart Tolle, right? The Power of Now, and then A New Earth. And he says in his book, he says this, you've read it, I think, and people hear this, is the number one and only purpose for human beings. The largest purpose is to wake up. And then you all have your individual flavor of that part of the waking up process and how you help others and what you're here to bring. And it feels a little aligned. I mean, it's a spiritual message, but it feels very aligned of how are we waking up our whole planet? And I'm a part of that, but then I also have my own flavor of how I'm doing that and what brings me alive and what excites me. So thank you for sharing that flow that you talk about, or the different levels and layers. Yeah, beautiful. Great. Well, let's dive into. Let's kind of take it from the sort of the macro, right? The big picture down into, the slice of the men in this course wanting to learn more about their own purpose and get fired up around it. So let's dive into the purpose assessment tool. And why don't you give us a little context on it, and then we'll pull up the tool on the screen for guys to look at.
Sure. So, man, you've probably heard the saying, what gets measured gets done, right? So if purpose or any really kind of transformative modality lives in some kind of, fluffy, fuzzy place, there's going to be less incentive to actually kind of stay with it. And so what I found, I teach another course called the Purpose Challenge. And when we've taught this course, we were like, we really want this to have a global impact. And to do that, we need to speak the language of modernity, which is, science, fact, reason. And so a colleague of mine at Ohio State, Dr. Gleb Sapersky, he helped us quantify it. So we created this thing called the Meaning and Purpose Questionnaire that we gave everybody before the challenge, then after. So both times we run the challenge, we've used this thing. And the results are astounding. So people who took the questionnaire, were more likely to finish because they're like, oh, I took this questionnaire and I'm like not where I want to be. So it's like a good snapshot, right, of where you're at. But when they completed the 21-day challenge, we found that so there's a statement that was in the questionnaire. It was, I'm satisfied with my sense of meaning and purpose in my life. And that moved on average, so for some people much, much more, but that moved on average 1.6 points on a scale 1 to 10. So if you were a 6 going into the course, you ended up with a 7.6.
Right, great.
And so quantifying these things is really important because you can see your difference, and it gives you a sense. I mean, we all know what it's like to work out with a goal and work out with no goal. Like you're like, I am going to be in great shape for spring break, or I'm going to be, I'm going to get into my wedding tux or whatever it is, right? There's a goal.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to run my first marathon. Well, whatever that is. Right?
Yeah. And it's really important. And so when you get to see what you did before the course, you're like, oh God, man, I can't live life like this, with my scores, what they are. Like, I want to be on fire. So it's going to give you more juice to like stay in, to contribute to the forum, to, participate, to ask questions during the calls. I mean, it's basically, like pulling the slingshot back for your Man on Purpose course. Like that's how I hold this purpose assessment tool. So, the other really important reason to do this is that, as a man on purpose, which I hold that you all are, it helps to have a number. It helps to know that like, I'm not just somebody who's committed to a big life. I'm not just somebody who's committed, but like, I'm actually a courageous enough man to look at my life as it is and to see where I'm out of alignment in all these areas and say like, wow, okay, purpose is important to me and I've got a lot of work to do. So this is, it might bring up some fear of resistance around doing it, but when you do it, you'll know yourself as a man who can look himself in the face and look at what he doesn't like. Now that in and of itself puts you apart from, 90% of men on this planet who like, don't look in the dark, scary corners. You're going to do that in this tool. So it's yes, a snapshot, and it's transformative in and of itself. You will be a different man on the other side of doing this.
Yeah, Brandon, it's great. It's perfect, as you know, that I know you've been working on this, and this is new for the course this year to have this purpose assessment tool, and it's perfect for our first session, or coming out of that first session, which is mapping your life as a man. And really taking a look. You're going to, the men are going to look at all different parts of their life, but they're also going to assess themselves around purpose right now.
Right.
And, and men, we really want you to be as honest as you possibly can be, not only going through the exercise of looking at all areas of your life, but also with this purpose assessment tool. And I agree, Brandon, it's always helpful for the left brain side of us. We've got the creative right brain, we've got the more logical, intellectual left brain, and this is a great tool to bring the left brain online too, to say, got it, I have a number, I have a kind of I have an assessment of where I am, and I can build off that. And so I'm really excited to dive in. And so why don't you pull up the tool and show it, and then walk us through the tool with some tips and ideas of how to best use it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah. So first, let me just set a little bit of backdrop about how this was created. So in addition to leveraging the work that we did in the Purpose Challenge with the Meaning and Purpose Questionnaire, I worked with a psychotherapist friend of mine to look at, somebody who's had a lot of experience looking at people who are disconnected from their purpose and what are the reasons for that. And what we came up was there's three big buckets that relate to purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The first is awareness, like knowing your purpose. There are lots of people who know their purpose and don't do anything about it, and that's fine. But some people don't even know it, or they've got a fuzzy idea, or they're almost there, but they know a few of the aspects, but they're not really sure, so they lack clarity. So there's the awareness, and then there's empowerment. So you all know people who are just empowered about everything. They're just like, yeah, go do it. Yeah, do it. And then people are like, well, this could happen, and this could happen, and you look foolish, and you lose all your money, and blah blah blah. You live in the cycle of limiting beliefs and default purpose and all that kind of stuff. So that deeply influences purpose, because if you know your purpose and you can't express it because you're stuck inside beliefs, that's important to know. You want that information, because that's what's going to give you the juice to really go after the limiting beliefs and kind of the internal parts in the kind of middle part of the Man on Purpose course. You're gonna see where resistance is showing up, and you're gonna begin to scratch the surface here inside this tool. Now, the last piece is alignment. And so, my life's purpose is not fully expressed in all parts of my life. It's pretty well expressed in my health, my relationship, my community. It's not so well expressed in my finances. It's not very well expressed in my family. I've been playing a coward in my family. So it's really important to understand what purpose looks like on the court. How does your life purpose show up? So that's what this thing was developed to do, is to look at those three aspects. So
great. Awesome.
I'll start to run through
in there. It's looking good right on the screen there. Great.
So basically what we do first is I'm going to run you through 10 questions. And it's not important that you get these right. So your critical mind, your voice of judgment, whatever you call that, the part that says, oh, am I doing this right? Is this the right thing? Is this true? Blah, 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 blah. That's not important. So you can take that guy, give him $5, send him down to the corner store for some candy, because you're not going to need him here. Literally, these questions are just meant to be engaged with literally. They will not determine the content and the effect and the impact of your purpose. Mm-hmm. So super important just to kind of be in an open place and just fill this thing out as if it's nobody's going to see it. It's fully confidential. So we ask you these 10 questions. And the idea is to kind of get you connected to kind of the interiority of your purpose. What does it feel like when you talk about when you're the most passionate, or the people you admire, and what activities make you come alive? What problems really call you to solve? What were the moments in your life that felt really magical? And then, if you could look back on your life from now, what are you most proud of? And then why? Why is that? Why are your successes and outcomes fulfilling? Who did you get to be when you did it? Were you somebody who was resourceful, was creative, was courageous, was, a deep thinker, whatever it was? What are the being aspects of your purpose? And then, engaging you with some kind of, deathbed type reflections. So if you lived life full out, lived it mightily, what will you be happy that you accomplished in the remaining decades you have left on this planet? Mm-hmm. Great. So the idea is that, we're asking you those types of questions. So you want to spend, about a minute to 2 minutes per question here. So there's 10 total questions, and you don't want to write novels, but you want to tap into discrete, different things. So we left space for you to do 3. You can do a 4th or 5th if you're so called. But the idea is kind of get you reconnected to what's special about you. And so you really want to give that your full effort.
Great.
Now, once you've done that, we're going to move into the kind of quantifying it. So you're going to review all your answers and just kind of checking in with yourself and your body, with your spirit, really like asking, how connected do I feel right now to my life's purpose? And you may not have perfect clarity, right? You might not have all 8 aspects or know your purpose statement or anything like that. But you might be like, wow, there's something here. There's something within me. And I know that if I just kind of, wipe the glass, I'll be able to see really what it is. But it's just like, it's there. It's on the other side. So like, if you have so much certainty that like your purpose exists and it's literally, you can almost touch it, that would be like a 10. So you want to rate yourself a 10, like that's how connected I feel. Like, I can't believe what I just said. Like, I've never known myself this fully. Never before have I been inspired by my own life and so hopeful for the future. Like, you want to kind of have that present if you're a 10. Now, if you don't feel connected to your purpose, that's okay too. Like, that's not a big deal, right? So you may, depending on your mood or your diet or the time of day or whatever's happening in that moment, you might not, even after doing those 10 questions, you may just kind of be like dull or numbed out, and that's fine. But you want to note that. So if you're not feeling inspired or connected, you rate yourself a little bit lower. So, 0 would be actually like 0 connection. Like, I got nothing by completing those questions. And then once you get your score, you don't want to like overthink it or overanalyze it. Just kind of intuitively, like, I'm a 4 or I'm an 8. Whatever it is, just put it down.
What do you think what do you think, Brandon, is, men that are signing up for this course and people that you run into that are drawn to that, that purpose discovery process? So pretty clearly they're saying, I don't know my purpose. And I know they're going through these questions, but what's your experience for people that are in the journey, but really don't know? Is it the 4, 5, 6 zone, or what? What's that middle zone? Instead, there's the 10 and there's the 0, but what does that person look like that's in the middle?
I would say that I've probably not had anyone rate themselves lower than a 5 on this part. And that's because once you get connected to who you are and how you show up when you're at your best, it instills you with a sense of magic, like in a sense of the potential and the possibility of life. Mm-hmm. And so, where people don't rate themselves a 10, it's usually they're lacking clarity. They're like, oh God, like I should know exactly what my job is if I'm going to say I'm a 10.
Yeah, but so I really want to be clear with this. People are coming to us that want to find their purpose, Brandon.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't imagine doing those 10 questions. This is the first couple of weeks of the course maybe some people would rate themselves 10, but they probably wouldn't even be here.
Right.
So is it okay if somebody rates themselves 2 or 3 or 4? I know you can.
It's totally fine. Okay. That's totally fine. Yeah. And yeah, like I've never had anyone rate themselves a 10. Like I myself.
Yeah, I'm not a 10. I'm
an 8 or a 9. It's like it fluctuates depending again on time of day and what meeting I just had and So. Yeah, it's totally fine, but the questions really are designed to reveal kind of the almost like the maximum extent that you're capable of feeling in that moment.
Yeah, feeling it, like the feeling, not necessarily the clarity or acting on it, but just the sense of feeling and awareness of the possibility.
Yeah. It's like you're feeling it, like there's something like it's almost like there's a dimension that you want to go through, but that there's something on the other side, like. God, if I could just reclaim who I was when I did this project and how I felt when I was with this person, and man, if I could achieve what I just put down on this paper, man, my life would be fulfilled. If you're having that, that's really what we're talking about.
So the question, here I'm going to say it, before anybody took those 10 questions at all, you asked them, what's your purpose awareness score? 0 to 10, what would you? A lot of people would probably say 2 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, right?
Right.
But the cool thing what I'm hearing you say is if you go through the 10 questions, you're kind of digesting and exploring through the 10 questions that may reveal, oh, I actually have more insight and awareness than I thought. And that's now instead of a 2, if you just did it cold, more like a 5 or a 6. Is that where you're going? Because I don't want to confuse people here, Brandon. It's really important. Those 10 questions aren't magically going to give you your purpose, right?
They're
So
not.
it's just a kind of this felt sense of awareness of more, like I actually have more knowledge or awareness than I thought in a way
Yeah.
because
Bingo.
I've gone through these questions. Okay.
Bingo.
Got it.
So like another way to think about it, like, so in the Man on Purpose course, we talk about the call, right?
Yep.
Hearing the call, feeling the call, something's pulling you into it. And
Yes.
this is really what we're looking at here is like the strength of the pull. Like, oh, I feel like there's a bigger, more true, authentic place for me to
Great.
go.
Thank you. That's good. That's clear. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So once you have an understanding of your kind of purpose awareness score, like that you're aware it exists and it just needs to be cleaned up and needs to be rediscovered and added to. We then want to look at your empowerment. So what you want to think about is like if somebody said, "Gosh, I've got this great opportunity for you," and at a deep soul level, you're like, "Oh wow, that feels really aligned. That feels purpose aligned. Like I should go do that. I should take that program. I should go on that date. I should go for that trip or that run or whatever." And then something else creeps in and says no, for whatever reason. You look foolish, it's scary, it's risky, blah, 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 blah. And so what we want to look at is if an opportunity was presented to you that felt purpose aligned, would you say yes to it? And like on a scale of 0 to 10, like if you're feeling like incredibly empowered, like, wow, yeah, if it was laid out for me, if like the person I respected most said I should go do it, I would get over whatever I needed to get over my fear, my resistance to take that opportunity.
Yeah.
But if like you're stuck inside the reasons, like I need to think more about this, or maybe now you're starting to second guess like your awareness score and second guess your things. You're like, oh, I'm not that special. That wasn't that important. Like that's all that is. And by the way, that's totally normal, totally human. It's just resistance.
Yeah.
So that's the part of you that keeps you safe. And it's a really important part, and to honor that. But it's also important to know that like it's keeping you from living your purpose. Like you're running up against the thing. Like you've got something in front of you want, but you're hitting the wall somehow. So we want to note that, like, how strong is that wall? Like if you've got not that much resistance, you're going to have a high score, like 8, 9, 10. But if there's a lot of resistance, it'll be lower.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. It's alignment.
Yeah. So now we're going to move into alignment, and alignment's pretty, it's some more complex math here. So it's more than just simply rating yourself. We're going to look at each of the 7 areas of your life. So health, romance, career, family, community, spirituality, and finances. These are, some people use more, some people use it less, but these are the big ones. And one at a time, you're going to answer 2 questions about each area. So you're going to, first, you're going to assume that you know your purpose and that you're also really empowered to act from it. So it's not really, these aren't clarity questions. You just want to assume that you know it and you're confident to take action. So like for your health, for example, you're going to answer 2 questions. 1, how well does your health express your life's purpose? And how well does it support your life's purpose? So expressive would be like in your self-care, you feel purposeful. It doesn't feel like a big have to. Oh, I should, I should eat better. I should do this. I should, actually it's like, wow, no, like I love that I go to yoga and like take care of myself so that my body stays in shape, so that I can just experience my body. Like being self-expressed is part of my purpose. So having a body that's in good shape would be, an expression of my purpose. So that's the first question you're gonna ask. And the second is support. So how well does the state of things, and again, we're looking at your current state of things. So how well is the state of matters in your body support your life's purpose? So if you have like low energy, or if you have chronic things you're dealing with that are sucking up your psychic bandwidth, you got to attend to chronic issues, or whatever it is. If it's detracting from your ability to live your purpose in other areas of your life, you want to rate that lower. So if you had no issues, your health is perfect, like you just have a chassis that's just ready to live purpose, you're a 10. But if there's issues, being overweight or whatever it is, you're going to rate yourself lower.
Right.
So
express your purpose and support your purpose, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Express and support. So I want to add a couple of clarifying things here, just around each category real quick. So romance, if you're single, that's fine. But how you are vis-a-vis your romantic life, you want to look at that. So if you're single, you're like, okay, am I showing up to dating or the possibility of love in a purposeful way? Is it expressive of who I am, the way that I'm occurring right now? And also, in your relationship, let's say you are coupled, does your relationship allow you to, are you fully self-expressed there? Is there power and freedom in being in a relationship feels very purposeful to you? Or does it feel like, it's like my relationship kind of works against my purpose? So, and also with support, are you supported? Are you supported in that relationship? Moving over to, I want to make some distinctions between career and finances. So career, we're looking at what it is that you do, the actual activities, and do those activities express your life's purpose? Are they the fulfillment of your vision? So, and then also, do those activities support your life's purpose? Do you feel kind of fueled by them? They give you energy and juice for the other parts of your life to do it. You don't want something that wears on you, So family and community, very similar to relationships. So, how you show up in your family and community, are they expressive? And do your family and community support you in living a big life? Are they there for you? Are they like, yeah, Chris, we just want you to be the best Chris you can possibly be?
Mm-hmm.
And then with finances, if how you earn, save, and spend is expressive of your life's purpose, are your values walking into the grocery store or into the financial advisor's place? Is the manner in which your accruing income consistent with your vision for the world? Is it expressive of your life's purpose, right? And then support is is there enough? Is there enough money to live the life that you want to live? Those are the questions you want to ask.
Right. Great. Let's bring it all home. How we calculate all of this.
So what you end up doing, I would tally them down. So, tally your health, romance, career, etc. And then across, and when you get that total score, and then you divide that score by 140, which would be the maximum if you scored 10 on everyone. So that gives you a percentage. And then you just multiply that by 10 to get your actual number for enlightenment.
That's good. It is. It's your number toward enlightenment.
So in this example, you scored a 98 divided by 140 times 10 equals 7. So
okay, great.
Simple math. And then what you do, you then add your awareness, empowerment, and alignment scores together. And that creates a sum. So in this category, you add, or in this example, it would be 20 would be the sum, and then you divide by 30, which would be, again, the maximum to get to a percentage. So the percentage reflects the extent that you are living a purpose-driven life. And so if you scored above 80, that means that you're actually in the purpose range. You are rocking it. You are basically the embodiment of purpose. You're probably somebody who's done a lot of personal development work. Actually, you are somebody who's done a lot of personal development work. This doesn't happen on accident. And right now you're just looking for kind of deeper clarity. Oh wow, so what's the next level? What's the next clue? The next mission? The next, you're in that question. Where is my purpose moving?
Mm-hmm.
The middle range is meaningful, and that means that you've probably done a fair amount of self-awareness work, personal development work, and that a lot of stuff about yourself, and that your life is starting to express it. But it's not yet in that place of wow, this, it feels like a fully aligned, purpose-driven life. And so the Man on Purpose course is designed to kind of get you above into that 80 range. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about the lower range, because I just know that this course takes care of folks wherever they're at. But there could be parts of your life that are really kind of problematic, like with substances, relationships, jobs, or lack thereof. And in addition to doing this course, you want to spend your time on like getting those scores up, really, because it's like, you got to eat, you gotta be supported and loved. And if you've got constant sources of negativity at home or work, I mean, you got to get free from that, because that is literally sucking the life force out of you, but it's also sucking away your ability to actually focus on your purpose, or cultivating and like really participating fully in this course. So might be some other non-purpose to-do items that you discover for yourself in this.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. And this is really, really helpful, and it's so exciting that you're developing it, refining it, and giving an opportunity for the men to go through this assessment process here in the course. And it so works well in the first 2 weeks of the program, and dovetails nicely with the passion test and some of the things to look at all the areas of my life as a man and what's working and not working. So thank you. And so for you men, make sure this will be on the course website, and you could download it, have it in front of you, handwrite it. You can type it out. We'll make sure it's a Word document for you so you can use it as such. And so encourage you to do it. Make sure it's a part of the first wave of your exploration of your purpose in the course in the first few weeks. And we'll be able to talk about this in the Q&As as well. So if you have your questions around it, we may be bringing Brandon in to come live into one of our calls. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, but we'll definitely talk about it if you have some questions or issues about it. So thank you so much, Brandon. This was wonderful. Great to have you here. Brandon's also going to be part of the mentor program in the course. So some of you might be hearing from him, but he's going to stay involved and active. And I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And man, thank you for saying yes to your purpose. Like it's an amazing gift you're giving yourself. So please give yourself every possible advantage and do all the homework, show up every single class, and really spend a lot of time on the forum. That's where you'll get like the big outcomes.
Great. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, man. Why don't you turn off your screen share, and we'll just see our faces a little bit here. And so final thoughts. It's just so excited, men, to have you on this journey with all of us. And so keep your hearts open, your minds open, keep exploring, and we're gonna have an incredible journey together here in Man on Purpose course. So thanks. Be well, and we'll see you on one of the live calls, I'm sure. Thanks, Brandon.
Bye, everyone.